Hey there! Okay, so I bought a pen from B.R.E at Chatterley Luxuries. It was a Visconti, obviously, and I was very surprised to find in the box another pen, and that other pen was this pen. And I decided to do a review on this because this is a really fascinating one. You may be familiar with the Japanese brand Dani, now known as Dani Trio International, and they do very exclusive and usually pretty big pens now, but of course you've got to start somewhere, and this pen is actually a very early Dani Trio, then called Dani pen. And I thought it was a Chinese imitation or something because I thought this doesn't look like a Dani Trio, but it is. It's just an old model that is currently, you can find them here and there, but you have to be on the lookout. Okay, I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then do a writing sample. But first of all, thanks a lot to B.R.E for sending this pen along with my pen. I really appreciate it. Okay, top of the pen, finial, nothing. It's just blackness, absolute blackness. And then you have this very interesting pen body. It's a very shiny, nice black material. And of course you have these filigree snake overlays with the little red eyes. It's all very creepy, but it's very cool in a gaudy way. You have this end thing, which is made to post your pen, very useful. And then you have the brand name, Dani, and Phantas 1. Now, there were also much more expensive Phantas models, but this is the not super expensive one. Even so, it still wasn't extremely cheap, just to make sure. Okay, it's very funny because this is actually a Schmidt nib, so they moved away from that too. But I mean, here you have it, Schmidt, simple, it just says iridium point, nothing else, decent feed, and then you have the converter. And the converter actually says Trio. So it all comes together. And that's pretty much it. So you have a cartridge converter filled pen, you have a section that's made of that same shiny material. It's roughly, well, not really hourglass shaped, but as you can see it kind of tapers down and flares out again. You have a little ridge there. And that's it. Of course you have metal threads, but they're not sharp, they are well made, and you can really hold this pen comfortably. And if that's not enough for you, you can post it very securely, and then you get a really big and very heavy pen. Now, I would say this is a bit of a conversation piece because of the snake filigree. It's a very interesting model, and it's Dani Trio, which makes it very, very interesting that this is how they started. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, as I said, it's gaudy to a point where I actually find it quite entertaining, and there's a couple of things this pen really has going for it. I'm not a giant fan of overlays, but I think it works well here. It's almost like one of those cheaper Chinese pens. I've reviewed a couple of those with the two dragons playing with a pearl or something, but it looks a bit better. For some reason it looks a bit more refined. I like that. I also like the section. It's very thin, but it's very comfortable. It's very nice that the pen posts so securely, but on the other hand, it gets really heavy. If you like a really heavy pen, of course, that will be right up your alley. What I don't like so much is the nib. It's a very simple, standard Schmidt nib. It could be a bit more exciting, but I do find that it matches the section size very well. It doesn't look super small, which is nice. Also, a nice screw-on cap, very secure, and if you don't screw it on there too tightly, then the snakes kind of align the snake heads, but not perfectly. Okay, so there you have it. An old-style Dani pen. I found it very fascinating. I'm going to give you a couple of measurements, and then I think we should do a writing sample. The Dani, it weighs 66 grams. Of course, it's heavy because of the metal overlay. The cap weighs 26 grams. That's as much as some pens weigh. And then you have a body that weighs 40 grams. Capped length is 139.5 millimeters. That's 5.49 inches. And uncapped, it's 122.9 millimeters or 4.84 inches. Posted length is 162 millimeters. That's 6.37 inches. Barrel diameter is 13.5 to 15.1 millimeters, that's 0.53 to 0.59 inches. Section diameter is 8.1 to 9.7 millimeters, or 0.32 to 0.38 inches. Okay, Bryant, thanks again for sending me this pen, I appreciate it. Let's do writing sample. I hope this was useful so far, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go with the Dani Phantas 1. And this is Ackerman Chinatown Red. There we go. Okay, writing. A little skippy there. I've often found that red inks make some pens skip a little. I don't know if it's because of the very high saturation, that a lot of dye or something. In any case, it's not an unpleasant writing experience. Now, if we go fast, holds up pretty well. You saw a big skip there, but to be honest, the paper is a little dodgy there, so I wouldn't. No, it's not perfect, but it's not terrible. Alright, wetness. It's not the world's wettest nib, but it's not ultra dry. Line variation, there's quite a bit, as you can see. And interestingly enough, the feed seems to keep up reasonably well with that, which is also fairly cool. Alright, so there you have it, bit of reverse writing. This is actually fairly smooth reverse writing, so you can turn the nib around and get a finer bit of writing out of your medium nib. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later.